This is a house that we remodeled, and we're going to show you how to build some concrete steps here before long. This is just a quick review of what the outside of the house looks like and what it ended up looking like. So this is the back side of the house, and you can see the top of the stairs there. This is a set of stairs that was built by another contractor. Nothing wrong with them, they're quite nice. The cement work was done at the same time. We just had another person come in to speed things up, but the homeowner decided later on to build a concrete stairway up the rest of the way of the hill, and that's what we're going to show here in just a minute. So this is just a bit of the work that was done by the other person, putting up this retaining wall and stairs down to the house there. So what we've done is finished the stairway from the top of these stairs, you see the top there, up through this mid platform, and then continuing on up the hill, making an almost half circle. But so we'll describe that in a minute as we go. This is all 2x8 lumber framing. 2x8 is a 7.5 inch height wood, which is the height you want for steps. So we have the 2x8s framed in, and then we fit rebar in there. And since it's on a steep hillside, we are using plenty of rebar and reinforcing the concrete, and our concrete is a little on the thicker side just to make sure that it has some extra strength. There is our 3-bag mixer. It's actually the homeowner's mixer. This is the top of the stairs, and you're looking at where the rest of the stairway will go, and that is the rebar is all finished in there. So we're gonna get to pouring concrete here in a minute. And there's another look at the concrete. I forget how many bags that was, a couple of hundred bags anyway. And the two orange-red things are concrete or rebar benders. So here we go, pouring the concrete. You see the rebar sticking up out of the concrete, and those are going to be lifted out and embedded into the concrete, and those are to help reinforce the stairs, the steps. That trough is for pouring the concrete from the mixer out down the hillside into the stair forms. And here you see the top of the stairway where we're pouring concrete into it. We have a rock holding up the rebar, and when we get to that point we'll remove the rock. And this is the finished product here. We have brushed finish on the steps, and we will remove the side forms after the concrete cures up a bit more. And we took edging tool and rounded out the corners of the steps. So here we are a little farther up the hillside looking down, and this dirt area immediately in front of me is going to be stairway by the end of this video. But we have a lot of digging to do yet. And so that is the top of the platform for the midpoint of the stairway. You can see the new stairs that I built are a little darker than the ones that were previously built, and so now the stairway is going to continue on up the hillside, making access to the beach house a lot nicer. And this here is another look at some of the work. This will be in another video showing a wood stairway built up at that end. You can see the slope on the walkway there. It's been many years since it was graded, and there's just hill slippage. So this is a generation from the computer of what we plan to do there. So we're starting the digging process here, and you can see there is water coming out of the hillside. That's an old drain pipe, perforated pipe to get rid of water in the hillside. It didn't work as well as it could. So you see our white pipe there, and what we've done is we have put a perforated line, white PVC plastic, under the stair, on top of fabric, and then filled it with about 3 bags of 7/8 rock, and then wrapped it in fabric. And so that is going to drain water out from under the stairway. Excuse me. And there is the second step up there. Each step, the first step, we drilled and epoxied rebar into the mid platform, and then each consecutive step has rebar sticking up through it to attach to the next step coming up. And that is some of the drain system for the groundwater coming out under the stairs. So we have the pipe on the right is a standpipe that is going to be a clean out. We anticipate roots in the area. That is on the side where the pipe will continue up and drain more water down into it. So we are bringing the drainage system up as we build each step level, and there you can see the crushed rock and fabric, and then there is already pipe under that. Excuse me. And there you can see we have taken advantage of the situation where we can have one clean out for 2 pipes using the Y. Now, as the stairs are getting higher and higher, we have to build a platform for the concrete mixer to get onto. So we have some metal strapping that we screw into the boards to hold the concrete mixer stable so that it won't tip over on us. And there is the next step level. Plenty of rebar bends coming up to attach to the next step going up. So right now we have 2 box structures that are going to support the stair, the mixer, as we go up higher. You can see the groundwater, the wetness in the hill behind there, and as I dig for the next step, I dig down and into the hillside and keep finding more and more water. So we have gravel is under that rebar there. You can see that I'm a fan of rebar, especially in this situation, because there's a lot of potential ground movement, and we want to be able to resist that as best as we can. And those are the white bags of gravel that we put in, about 3 bags for each step. And there's more concrete. There's our perforated drain pipe that goes in under the stairway. And if you look, you can see the tram that we use to get materials up and down the hillside. Lots of wasps, mud dippers, so you had to be careful. Now this is the plan for the stairs, how they're going to end up, and it worked out very nicely. And you can see the drain pipe for the next step level there. It's a Y coming down into the drainage pipe, and now there is a section of perf going across behind the next step and gravel. And then we have another clean out pipe coming up there. And now that we've got this situated, we'll build the next box and pour concrete into that. And so there you see plenty of rebar again. And there is the next pipe heading up the hillside. And we will have one more drainage section under the next step, I believe. And that is Steve, the owner, working, helping out, pouring concrete. We have a mark on the bucket of how much water we need for 3 bags of concrete, just to simplify things. So there is the next step has been filled. We've cleared away the platform for the concrete mixer, and the front of the step form is still there. Going to take the edging tool and round the top edges of the step, and then we will brush the finish of the stair to give it that brushed look, which is also grippy so that you don't slip when you walk on the stairs. Now at this point we are making the turn is becoming significant into the hillside, so we're not going to be going so deep into the hill anymore, and we won't be hitting groundwater because of that. So we will, instead of making large box forms, we'll switch over to just building simple forms like this up the rest of the way, following the same curve. And I believe the curve rate is 13 inches on the inside and 19 inches on the outside. You can see the inside of the step to the left is shorter than the right side, and so there is some of the drain pipe to get rid of the water coming down the from under the stairway, and that goes down to the beach and just pours groundwater out into the beach. And here we have father, son, and grandfather helping out. And this is more of the drain pipe. The neighbors were building a concrete block wall, which subsequently failed. They should have used concrete. This is a midpoint platform that I built on the tramway so that we could get materials in and out more easily on this upper level. You see that step there, we had to replace that because it was very flimsy. In fact, it was kind of a hazard. So here you see we built some new stairs here, much more stable. We have metal brackets holding everything together, and we made use of those for a couple of months until we built timber stairs, which is another series of videos on this house project. And that's a view from the tram looking out over Puget Sound. So there is the top large step and the series of framed more simple steps being framed up the rest of the stairway curve. So you can see we are now as high as we're going to go there. We still have to install the rebar. We'll be drilling rebar and setting epoxy into the bottom block. And this is a picture of the whole stairway. So that's how high we're going to come there, and we have some backfilling that has to happen here. And you can see the white PVC pipe that comes under the stairway, and there's going to be a large cement platform above on the top of the stairway there at the upper midpoint, and that PVC pipe goes over and creates a low point drain on the platform up there. So there will be, and this is a collection system for all of the various sources of groundwater coming in from the hillside, and that is the drain pipe that comes up under the stairs, and that's all buried. So there you see the drain pipe there. The end that is up above on the hillside has a grated end on it, and so that is going to be filled with gravel and fabric, and that will drain any water collected on the uphill side of the stair platform, and then any water on the stair platform itself will run to the low point drain on the platform. So we have we've made pretty good effort for ground control. These are rebar pieces that are going to go from the stairs to the sidewall up. And there's a cat that was helping us every day. This is rebar under the stairway, and again we use plenty of rebar. You can see on the right side the verticals for the wall, and that shows you how steep the hillside is. It's pretty close to a 35-degree slope. It's a steep one, and there you see plenty of rebar. Those are the uprights for the wall, and they are a double upright, so there are two levels of rebar going up the walls and in the platform above to maximize the strength of the wall. We want the wall to be able to resist any motion pushing it forward. Excuse me. And this, you see the 2x2s there hold the rebar stable in the center of the wall, and then when we pour concrete, the concrete itself will hold the rebar centered in the wall, and then we will pull out the 2x2s and then just vibrate concrete to fill the void. And that's what the stairway is going to look like when it's poured. Forms are on it there. The mixer is up there, and this is a computer drawing I did just to kind of figure out how we were going to do the wall, and this here is a later drawing of what the concrete and wall stairway will look like. And there we've poured the stairs. We've got our first float work done, and so we're just waiting for it to firm up a little bit. Then we'll do some more trowel work and then hit it with the edging tool to round the edges. Then we'll strip the forms off and brush the concrete to give that brushed, grippy finish. We have a canvas tarp on the sidewall because we had trouble with dirt wanting to fall down onto our nice concrete, so we put the tarp there to hold it. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. That's a finished picture there, just to give you a forward look. So there's the concrete. Steps are freshly poured there. And there is the brushed finish. You can see we've edged all the corners of the stairs and hit them with the brush, and everything looks nice and uniform now. Then we'll peel off the forms tomorrow. You can see the rebar sticking up on the platform there, and then we will we're actually going to add another level of 2x8 on top of that 2x8 that you see there, and then pour the top level of the concrete stair, and that will make the pad above. But there's a lot of work to do before we do that. That rebar sticking up will be bent over and become part of the top. And there you can see the forms on there again. The rebar coming up through the stairway, that will be bent down and become part of the top platform. Excuse me. Okay, so I think we're going to start working on the top level here in a minute. Just got another series of angles of pictures to go through. We put the buckets on top of the uprights just as kind of a safety measure so that nobody falls on them and impales themselves. There's a look down at the stairs from above. So there's going to be a lot of dirt moving and filling going in up there. So you'll see how we retain the dirt wall above the stairs and do the rebar in the wall here in a minute. What we did is we used, okay, so that is the finished look, and you'll see that at the end of the video. But the okay, so this is what we did for the wall. You can see that is a sheet of hardy backer, and we dug the wall, the dirt back, and set that in there. And then we took some plastic rebar stands and used those to hold the rebar away from the wall, and then also used it to hold the rebar away from each layer of rebar. There are 2 layers of rebar in there, and then the wall is going to be built so that it is 2 inches on top of the steps. So the wall will actually be about 8 inches thick. You can see the double layers of rebar there, and that is to give the wall greater rigidity to be able to resist hillside forces. And of course it's not going to be able to resist everything, but it should give it greater strength than it would have. And so you see how we've got the rebar in there, and we're in the process of bending it and fitting it. And we actually end up making the wall a little bit longer than we had planned on, and that will make the platform up above a little larger too. So you can see on the bottom left there was the pipe where the drain for the upper platform is going to be. And you're looking down the full half circle of the house, or the stairway towards the house. So you can see it makes for a very nice stairway, very visually pleasing. There's the curved wall. Mitch made that. We used some AC 1/2-inch plywood, and then we scribed the curve onto some 2x12s and cut the curve out of the 2x12s, top and bottom. And so we have the concrete forms on top are level. You see my level there. And then what we'll do is you can see where the pipe comes up in the platform, that curved 90-degree elbow, and the whole platform will slope down towards that pipe. And so that will get all the water on the platform to go down the drain instead of into the hillside, because we want water control here. And there's the drain there. And the pipe is just there to keep stuff from falling in, or the elbow and cap. There's a picture of the curved wall, and that will be braced up considerably there. I'm not sure if I have pictures of all the bracing that went onto it. So the lower piece actually had to be cut with a different scribe on it, because it is coming at an angle downward, and so it's a compounded angle that we had to cut. And this is from the bottom looking up at the stairs. And so now I have the upper stairs are going in, and there were 4 steps going up to the walkway, the pathway, and then we filled and leveled in the path, and so that made for a much better walk down to the house here. And that's a finished look at the top of the platform again. You see the drain pipe out there, and this is looking back, and that's the finished look. So you can see there's still quite a bit of work to do here. You can see the squares of plywood that are on the ground there, and those are covering 8-inch round 3-foot deep holes. And what those are going to do is we bent up some rebar pins to go down into those holes and then fill them with concrete, so that we have a little extra holding power with concrete pins going down into the hillside 3 feet. So you'll see those pins here in a moment. You can see 2x4s being nailed across the top steps to hold the bottoms of the steps in. Now there's one of the rebar pins. That's the one that goes in the corner towards the tram. And this is some of the rebar going down into the wall. This is the front corner of the curve on the stairway. This is the house that we're remodeling down there. This is how it looked when we got to it. It needed a lot of help, and this is what it looks like finished. And we had put in the new decks, all the new concrete work down there, and that was by the earlier contractor who did the other wall. So there are another pin going in, and you see how the pin is made there, and the pin is designed to attach to both the upper and lower level of rebar going across the platform, trying to make it as strong as possible so that it will resist motion as well as possible. So you see you can kind of see the 2 levels of rebar going across now. Against the back form there you see the upper and lower level, and you see the upper and lower level here. So plenty of rebar in the corners, and it's all set up to try and prevent any cracking. So we have the rebar there is designed to hold in 3 dimensions, pushing forward or downward. This is all the concrete that's going to go into it. We have 300 and some bags there, all staged, ready to go. Had to put it under tarps just to keep it safe, and there is the upper platform immediately after the pour. Those are the upper steps. That is the top platform and the curved wall. These are the upper steps again. And so we're stripping away the forms right now. So it worked out very nicely. The wall follows the curves of the steps very nicely. It creates a nice large platform, and this is just a refresher of how it started. There was the computer animation of what we were going to do, and this is what we ended up with. And that is looking at the hillside, or the top of the platform. This is looking down from the top. And this is another look at the house. So the project was pretty good. There is a full video on the actual pour, and there's also a rebar video showing how all the rebar was done. So hope you enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe, and if you like this video, let us know by clicking that like button, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you.